The following is a presentation of The Day.
It's a Monday afternoon in Stonington, and it's time for some higher learning. As Stonington High School just gets out of school, it's the East Lyme Vikings and the Stonington High School Bears, two teams who have studied each other relentlessly, hoping one will be the student and not the pupil. You're going to watch it all live on Game Day. Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health, voted the #1 best dental practice 5 years in a row in the day's Reader's Choice Awards. Visit them at 177 Boston Post Road or at waterforddentalhealth.com. Well, if today's about higher learning and got an education theme to it, who better to bring in than the coach, Colin Delaney, educator in his own right. And Colin, we have done a lot of different soccer up to this year, but this is the premier matchup so far, Stonington and East Lyme. I think it's safe to say the elite skill in the ECC.
Yeah, time now. Two top seeds in ECC Division One, a game with divisional championship implications. Both teams tend to win their games out. This could be the game that pushes that Division One championship.
So the teams have taken the field, and we will have kickoff momentarily. As always, when we talk about these games, we like to focus first on the keepers. For East Lyme, junior Owen Brown, and for Stonington, senior Peter Fernholz. And the two teams, Stonington in their home brown and East Lyme in the white. Both teams feel good about where they are right now with their keepers, but as good as those two teams are out there, firepower on the East Lyme side. Stonington had some struggles throughout the year, a lot of new faces on defense. So it's going to be, as always, that sort of coaching matchup. And there are two very good head coaches from an X's and O's perspective here today.
Absolutely. I mean, both Coach DeCastro and Coach Christensen, I've been coaching for years, Wally a little bit longer than Paul, of course, but definitely both had tremendous success at the SEC and state level over the years. Stonington come off a great run last year, and just trying to, put the pieces back together for another great run this year.
The Bears, of course, feature youth as well as expertise, veteran expertise. We've heard names. You're going to hear Reese Hammond's name a lot today. Sam Montalto, the sophomore. We'll talk about any number of Bears who like to touch the ball because they are a team that likes to get everybody involved in the early going.
Yeah, they're definitely a team that tries to share the ball. They don't want to have one guy to be the go-to guy. They want to really spread that ball east and west, find each other, and mix it up, both good possession and some direct balls from the flanks.
You think it's fair to say that for many years, the Stonington style of soccer was unique amongst the ECC teams? It was maybe perhaps one of the first of its kind. Other teams emulating Stonington for many years. I've always felt that Stonington brought perhaps, from the diverse nature of the players, but the strong Portuguese foundation for many years, a much different skill set of style here than other places.
I think definitely from a technical standpoint, you've had a lot of good players over the years with a great ability to get the ball at their feet, move that ball from person to person. They're playing that one-touch, two-touch soccer. A lot of unselfish play for sure. And I think there's a lot of teams who try to emulate that, as you mentioned, and some with success, and others just maybe not have the personnel for it. But certainly, they're a team that tries to play soccer the right way.
Going back all the way 30 years ago into the late 80s, when other teams were playing, what I think we've both referred to as sort of glorified kickball, Stonington was playing a very skilled set of, like you say, one and two touch soccer, and now it's become the standard in the ECC, and certainly the majority of ECC teams try to emulate that.
Well, I think, Casey, as we mentioned before several times, players have advanced. The player nowadays is much more technically gifted than they were in the past.
Montalto down in the corner with Grubb on him. That's a great matchup. Montalto goes to his right, puts a ball into the middle, touch, and a shot by Sowen is deflected, and it's going to get onto the feet of Elias Dahl. Dahl's being battled out in the corner by Kane Salon, and out of touch out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Stonington.
Montalto is a great soccer body, big frame, only a sophomore. He's going to do great things for 4 years here at Stonington. He played, with the man among the boys as a freshman last year. Certainly he's a player to watch in the next 2 years.
Yeah, we had this game last year at night, and Montalto was, stood out even then. Great long throw, dangerous ball in front, but other side far post, and cleared out by our guy Goose. Stonington keeping the pressure on. Now they'll play it back and reset, play it through the backs. Castro had it momentarily. Now here's a low shot and a save made by Brown. First time on goal. Fidrich put it right in, and Brown did down for the save. You know, my impression last year of Montalto Colin was, as a freshman, he did what he was asked to do. You know, he did have the star players around him, and he was asked to be a finisher. They said, make the most of the opportunities that you have, because you're going to get some amazing opportunities. Just make the most of them. And I don't think he could have done any better as a freshman. He was a true goal scorer. You know, he came up in big situations with prominent goals. And then, like, you know, many other youngsters, now he's being asked to do a little bit more this year, and it seems like he's risen to that challenge as well. Well, there's that physicality you see right there of Montalto. He broke a tackle, kept the ball on his feet, and drew the penalty, and that's going to be a free kick for Stonington, and Fidrich will take it about at the 22-yard line of the football field. So about 25 yards away from goal. Now they're moving it back to the 25. So Fidrich will have it about 30 yards away. Little chip out in front, and Brown comes up and cleans it up. Nicely done. High in the air off the foot of Brown, coming down. East Lyme is trying to get something going on their own right offensively. Nothing so far, and they'll play it back. Of course, the guy to watch right now for East Lyme is Pizzaglia. He's been amazing, and Stonington is going to mark him wherever he is.
It's always been good at just throwing numbers forward on the attack, getting a whole lot of runs from outside backs, getting the guys involved, and finding those goals.
Nice deflection. Kept back in, and East Lyme really trying to clear their own zone right now. They've been doing a nice job, but Stonington keeping the pressure on the one side of the field as Fidrich battles down there with Goose, but an inadvertent handball by Fidrich, and East Lyme will have the possession. Nice play by Grubb to get a head ball that was intended from Fidrich to Montalto. Grubb, a big presence back there, got his head on the ball, and now Stonington will play it back through Cannella. It's a very nice battle going down in that corner with Goose and Will Sowen. And Sowen wins the battle that time. And we're going to have a throw from Cole DeVoe, another of the sophomores. A lot of sophomores out on the field right now. It's a very, very talented sophomore class here at Stonington. Throw in front, head ball, and Brown is there to make the save. East Lyme will play it through the midfield, change fields. Now try to shoot a long ball down the sideline it goes. And we'll put it in front. Fern Holtz comes off his line for the Bears. they sent Zavaleta, did East Lyme, down the sideline. Good speed. He's a starter that we didn't see in our previous game when they played Waterford. Yeah, he can run, and he tracked that ball down on the sideline. Nice move by Fidrich right there.
They can find him in isolation. Not too many guys in the field keep up with his speed.
Fidrich and Hammond, two very, very quick and talented players on the same side. Hammond quickly with the throw. And Mazzulli clears for East Lyme.
Despite his shorter height, he weighs a kid much taller than he is, much faster than he is. His body in good shape. Look at Bryson Soccer player, a good soccer IQ. He's a player that certainly is going to do great things for us here.
Sokolovsky stepped in front for East Lyme, and it was knocked out of bounds, so East Lyme will have a throw from the far sideline. Noam Sokolovsky, the junior. Good size. East Lyme's got good size through the back. A little bit tiny up front, but good size through the back.
And I think if you're Stonington, you have to be aware of that. You know, those big balls across the middle into those center backs might be a problem. Keep the ball on the floor when we can, or try to find guys in the flank on an overlapping run.
I mean, Grubb's big. Sokolovsky's big. Goose has good size to him. They're a good sized defensive side for East Lyme. I was impressed with Stonington's size as well, as Fidrich makes a little run, pushes it to the outside, looking for a center block back in the middle and in front. And a nice job by the Vikings to get a foot on it and clear. And then they're going to get Montalto lingering.
East Lyme has that, bend but don't break mentality in that back end, and I think if you're not, more urgent in the back, Stonington's going to find ways to make that back four pay. So they got to step up a little bit higher and defend a little bit earlier, I think, because otherwise Fidrich will find that penetrating run, dish it off the side. You see a lot of those balls be served from the side, that flank ball, and they'll have guys making those runs through that'll finish it. So we got to be really careful. If they're sitting too deep, giving Stonington extra space is going to be a problem.
Grubb and Mazzulli anchor that defense for East Lyme. Goose on one side, Salon on the other. And that'll roll out of bounds off the end line. Goal kick for East Lyme. But Stonington's had a couple of shots on goal, one pretty good one, a couple of dangerous balls rolling around, and East Lyme really hasn't even had anything other than that one run down the sideline. They really haven't had much on their offensive end at all.
No, not too much so far. They had a couple opportunities on the flanks that we mentioned before, but really nothing super dangerous. They have to find ways to shrink this field. Their back end's got to push forward, give the midfielders more support, give the forwards more support so everyone's kind of collectively together. You're giving these guys way too much space, and as I mentioned before, Stonington, as technically gifted as they are, and that possession-style attack is going to find ways to create some holes and some more offense.
High ball put into the middle, touched out by the Bears, and East Lyme retains. Zavaleta, but he loses it to Fidrich. Fidrich now through the middle of the field, tries a through ball to Montalto. Fidrich keeps it on his feet. Montalto gets it on his, but he can't get there, and instead, play on, no call, in front, Fidrich, and we're going to get an offsides.
Fidrich and Montalto are relentless. One tackle, two tackle, three tackles. They keep on motoring through. They find ways to get that ball in a positive area of the field. Very difficult guys to defend.
Yeah, they bang. Montalto went right through Finn Power, and I thought that was a really good chance for the Bears because Fidrich almost had that through ball to Montalto, and he would have put that away. That's his bread and butter.
Yeah. Sam's going to be a really scary player as he gets physically stronger and faster. I mean, he was a wiry freshman last year. You can see his body is already changing this year. Man, you put a couple more pounds on him, and he's going to be a really scary player the next 2 years for sure.
Yeah, because he's going to be able to do some of the small things that we don't always see at this level with his body. We saw it earlier where he was able to run through a slide tackle and keep the ball on his foot. When he's going to like a hockey player positioning himself in front of the goal, no one's going to move him.
No.
And that's going to when he can get that physicality to it, it's going to be fun to watch because I think the skill set's there, the speed, the touch, the power, that's all there. When he gets that physical presence where he can brush somebody off because they're going to mark him everywhere he goes. When he can brush somebody off and keep the ball on his foot, that's going to be a lot of fun.
You haven't had, a player of his size as an attacking player in a number of years. And you've had some bigger players in the middle of the field and in the back, but really he's your stereotypical, target forward. We haven't had one of those in a while. I think back to like, Jimmy NFA years ago and a couple of the players, over the years. But really, it's been a while.
Low line drive and cleaned up by Brown. Nice shot off the foot of DeCastro, and Brown goes to the turf. Colin, we've done 3 previous soccer games to this one, you and I, and they've all seemed to have this same common thread, which is at least the first half of the first half completely dominated possession by one team. Now we're 26 minutes into this thing, and East Lyme's had two times on their half of the field. It's almost entirely been on the Stonington side. It seems that every game's one of these teams has sort of jumped out energy-wise and kept the pace of play.
It's not surprising from the standpoint that it's Stonington, because I think Stonington this year, from what I've seen in games I've watched, they typically do dominate possession against most teams. But what's interesting, though, is both these teams are coming into this game with 38 goals for. They both have the same exact number of goals they've scored against opponents this year. The difference is, Stonington with only 9 goals against, and East Lyme with 15 goals against, so almost double.
Dahl put a beautiful ball far post, and a ripped shot from Wynn Hammond goes high over the net.
But we know that both teams have the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. They both play, a fairly, competitive schedule in ECC Division I and with some out-of-division games, out-of-conference games. So we know that the teams can bring it. But like I said before, East Lyme came out slow against that Waterford game. Waterford scored that first goal despite dominating on that, in-swing on the corner. And here we are today, and not much of a difference. To their credit, though, it's still 0-0.
DeVoe plays it up through the middle. Now Hammond touched outside to Sowen. And out of bounds, it'll stay Stonington ball.
What we may see, Casey, to be honest, is, right now, Stonington's doing a great job of letting that ball do all the work. As we mentioned before, that ball doesn't need any sleep, any food, any water. And they're really making a good job of letting that ball work. But what's happening on the flip side of the coin is East Lyme's working hard to kind of keep pace with it. East Lyme's got to spend more time letting that ball work from person to person instead of chasing all the time. They're going to be gassed if they're not careful in the second half.
A nice change of field that time. Malky through the middle of the field now for East Lyme. And a little down the line to Zavaleta in the corner. Zavaleta spins. Needs some support here. Puts it in front. And a nice attempt at a one-timer off the foot of Kluge, but no good as Fern Holtz was there. That was a nice, the thought process was there that time for East Lyme.
I think Wally is smart here. If his goal to this game is to attack the flanks and stay out of the spine, that's a great goal against Stonington, because they're better players typically are going to be down the spine. If they can get in some 1v1 opportunities on the flanks of the ball, left and right, they might have some chance to swing some balls in, and you might see an opportunity for East Lyme to score, because once again, they're one counterattack away from going up 1-0, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Fidrich did a beautiful job, had a little overlapping run with Lindenmeyer. Now Fidrich through the middle of the field, tries to get on his left foot, wants one more, instead gives it to Montalto, left foot shot, just over the top of the goal.
Well struck.
Beautiful, Fidrich and Montalto. Anytime they have the ball within 30 yards, you can feel the energy change.
Well struck, knuckled ball, just a little bit over the post there. You can't give him daylight like that. Right foot, left foot, he's super dangerous.
Fidrich, middle of the field, pivots, puts it back outside to Sowen, and Sowen will play it back to Reese Hammond. Nice, beautiful ball movement right now by the Bears. And a nice poke out by Power. Now Hammond, and Goose steps in front with some room. Gonna a little change fields now. Sokolovsky. And we're gonna get a whistle in the middle of the field. That'll be East Lyme ball. But as far as a smart penalty goes, that was probably we're gonna get him. Maybe it's not a smart penalty, but I think for the change of timing, it was. So he's gonna talk to Billy DeCastro and explain how DeCastro can't undercut Sokolovsky like that. But I do think in the moment, DeCastro did a smart thing, which was prevent the equivalent of a fast break in basketball.
100%. You're on the defensive side of the field. That's a foul worth giving. It's not a cardable offense. It wasn't anything that was egregious. Smart foul on the back end. You'll see those happen time and time again. You're preventing that fast break opportunity, that big counterattack from East Lyme, because once again, their last counterattack, what happened? Ball across the box, potential shot in the frame. So, Billy's a smart player. He knows what he's doing out there, and that's a smart foul.
Grubb tried to get a through ball to Zavaleta, but intercepted by the Bears. And now here comes a ball onto the head, a little flick by Montalto, and they'll play. East Lyme will play it back through Brown, and the keeper bangs it into the Bear zone. Nice head ball. Here comes Montalto. Goes to his left, rips a shot, and just wide, and too much room is being given to Sam Montalto.
Yeah, I tell you what, you're seeing a bit of a change now. They were super possession-based the first probably 15, 20 minutes of the game. Now you're seeing some direct balls in, which is going to catch East Lyme off guard. There was nobody between the 40-yard line and the 20-yard line except for Sam Montalto. That ball's in the air, he brings it down, pivot, shot in the frame. That's not a guy you want to leave open like that. So if East Lyme is not careful on those big switches and adjustments, they're getting kind of lulled to sleep with that possession base. All of a sudden, big ball in, that's dangerous.
Here's Fidrich's chance. Now he dumps it back. Stonington to play it. We'll play it out to Hammond. Hammond, nice little flick, gets it back in the corner and pushed out of bounds. But nice work between Sowen and Hammond.
Now we get that throw-in specialist again, right? Anything on the sideline over here becomes an opportunity. It becomes a corner kick, you know?
Yet they'll send Cole DeVoe, only a sophomore, so he'll make the long throw. Dangerous position here. A scoring chance every time he makes this throw. High, end over end, in front, head ball, and a whistle. And they're going to say Fidrich used the arm. He's having this conversation right now. Fidrich got him. They're going to call him no goal.
You know, Fidrich always uses his body really well, but sometimes he can get a little bit too physical. I couldn't see from this angle, you know, what happened there, but the official obviously has a better view than I do. Tough call.
The equivalent of offensive pass interference in football. That's basically what it was. Fidrich was going for the ball, as was East Lyme's defender, and Fidrich kind of raised the arm and gave him a little shove. It was beautifully done. I mean, it's the kind of thing that a college coach would look at and say, oh, that's good. That's exactly the kind of thing you need to do.
For sure. You just can't impede the defender or the goalkeeper's ability to make a play on the ball. And once again, from my standpoint, it's hard to tell, but certainly, that's a play that sometimes is let go and sometimes it's called. In that case, thankfully from East Lyme's standpoint, it was a indirect kick coming out.
Well, as the competition and the skill level gets higher, and I'd say, right now you're looking at the premier teams of the ECC, and there are teams year in and year out who are at this level as well, but both of these teams, premier teams in the ECC. As you go up higher, Division III college, and all the way up into Division I college, into professional soccer, there will be those bumps, grabs, tugs, and shoves, a penalty on every ball within, that's contested. It's part of the game, and so being good at it is a skill set.
Yeah.
There are those who know how to subtly use their body, and even though it might be technically against the letter of the rules, they know how to do it.
No, definitely. It's one of those things.
High ball, and Brown off the turf. The diminutive goalkeeper. There's the one downside to being a little bit shorter than the rest. But Brown got up.
Yeah, it's tough on this turf sometimes. That ball is going to bounce a little bit higher than it would on grass, and you got to be careful on those balls where you kind of get your timing off.
I am very much enjoying watching Stonington. Every ball is on a foot. Head ball goes right to someone's foot. Every touch goes right to someone's foot. They're patient. Everything goes right. It's just ground soccer. Even when the ball's in the air, it's with a purpose. I really liked how Stonington is moving the ball.
No, for sure. And one of the things I think we often overlook is, there's the Montaltos and Fidrichs of the world. But when you think about it, though, these guys can't play and possess the ball as they are without incredible movement off the ball by the other teammates around them. So really, it's a culture, it's a climate that the Cashers created, and also that these guys are playing in the off season. This stuff can't be created just from August 25th until November 15th. This has to happen year round. So you get a lot of these guys getting touches in the off season and perfecting their craft to where their passes aren't a yard off. They're on the money. They're on the far foot. They're on the near foot. You're not playing to the vicinity of a player. You're playing to his exact foot that you want to play to.
And I think you make a great point, Colin, as this ball lobbed up and just wide. A beautiful ball from Wynn Hammond, the sophomore. I think one of the most unappreciated and difficult to capture visually. So I think a game day at this point has done about as good a job of giving you every high-def camera angle that you can get, but you can't see visually what you just spoke of. And I think it's maybe one of the most underappreciated parts of team sports. And we're seeing it in all of the sports that we do, and that is when communication goes from being verbal into familiarity, and you're so familiar with the people that you're with that there's this unspoken communication where these 11 guys are moving as one without having to talk about it. We see it in football where the quarterback just knows where to put the ball and the receiver knows what shoulder, and there's no communication about it. They just know. Volleyball, we saw last week, where the players have to communicate, but it has to be more than verbally because you have to just know who's going to go for what and where. And certainly we're seeing it here in soccer. Here's Fidrich with a direct kick from just outside, about 20 yards, in front. Weak side head ball goes out.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of those balls in Casey like that, and both sides have big backs. A lot of those balls driven in, are going to be, easily for the most part, defensive headers away. So I think you have to kind of be a little bit more decisive about what you're going to do with that ball in those circumstances. Am I going to play every ball in the air? Am I going to mix it up, ball on the ground, ball in the air? What kind of set pieces can I set up? What kind of prescribed players does Coach DeCastro, to Coach Christensen have in their playbook on those scenarios? And I think that's going to be important in those restarts in that final third.
Absolutely. Fidrich reminds me a little bit. He has a kind of that same wiry, quick skill that we saw last year from the best player on East Lyme.
Yeah, a little Al Kaczynski in him, a little Tyler Velasquez in him, even a little bit of that technical ability of Jamison McGowan last year. He's got that really, good sense of where that ball's on his feet. He doesn't look down very often.
Montalto in front, blast, shot, and a save by Brown.
We didn't see much of Brown in the last game against Waterford. He wasn't really tested like he is today. He's going to have to earn his paycheck today and really, be mindful of the near post and the far post shots and this, prolific attack that Stonington brings every single game.
Lindenmeyer will touch to Fidrich. Fidrich looking to make a move, does keep the ball on his feet. Beautifully done in front, tipped around, and Brown dives and makes the save.
I wish more teams would incorporate the short corner. So Fidrich is out there in the corner, brings another player along with him, and he has a couple choices. I can drive a ball in as an in-swinger. I can play a ball and play a 2v1. I can play a ball. He can play it back to me. I can knock it back in. It demands a defender leave the box and come join those guys and defend, because otherwise it's always automatically going to be 2v none, and they're going to attack the box.
Love what Fern Holtz did right there. Not only did he aggressively come off his line, he immediately sprinted, changed fields, and went the other direction with a roll, and just no wasted effort. I love the keeper who is trying to look to attack from his keeper position.
Well, we talked about those little nuances, right? The nuances of, what players are doing off the ball, the chemistry, and all those kind of things. Another underrated situation.
Loose ball, Hammond, and East Lyme will come out of that a little break.
Another underrated situation, I think, is goalkeeper distribution. I think it's this lost art. We're impressed by the shot-stopping ability of keepers. The big save in the upper 90, the sprawling save to the side on various shots. But what do they do once they have the ball in their hands? Are they going to sling it? Are they going to punt it? Are they going to change fields and bowl the ball to someone's foot? And that kind of thing is what college coaches look for at the next level, is your ability to not only stop shots, but what do you do with the ball in distribution? Can we keep possession, or is it going to be 50-50? I knock 50 yards down the field.
I very much enjoyed what Fern Holtz did, exactly that, Colin. He came aggressively off his line, picked up kind of the loose balls before it became a problem, and immediately knew from the way the field was tilted that he wanted to go the other direction and bowl out to his back and get the ball started transition in the other direction. It was really nicely done. And Stonington very poised in the back line.
Oh, for sure. I think it's also interesting that, we are not always fortunate as high school coaches to get polished goalkeepers on our rosters. We just aren't. Sometimes we don't have a keeper coming up through our feeder programs in our towns, and we have to pull an athlete, the likes of Buddy Duane at Montville High School, starting shortstop and all 6'3", 200 pounds of them, and trying to find ways to fill a need. And, a kid like that, great shot stopper, but distribution-wise, not so solid, I guess you would be putting it nicely. But can we find someone who's not only a good shot stopper, but has the ability to play the position with some soccer IQ? And it's not a position that is often easily found at the high school level. And today, for sure, we're seeing two keepers that are pretty polished, know what they're doing, good distribution, good shot stopping ability, good communication with their back line. It's nice to see that. It's not often the norm.
A little bit of energy on the East Lyme side of things now as Rohan Venkatesh has had a couple of nice runs, and Ethan Stewart, senior, is out there at forward. And they've had a couple of chances now where the ball has at least been on the Stonington side of things. I mean, we're down to just under 12 minutes, and we really haven't seen East Lyme with a shot. At least they've been getting some energy of the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, I think as the game goes on, I think, to be honest with you, this is going to tend to favor East Lyme over time, just because I think Stonington knows they've had some good opportunities, haven't found the back of the net yet, and it gives East Lyme that confidence. Hey, we can hang with these guys, we can defend these guys. If we keep them off the board, we can find a way to counterattack and put a ball in the back of the net, and maybe win this game by a goal.
Well, Coach DeCastro was concerned about the speed of East Lyme on the edge. And up till now, you haven't seen East Lyme really take advantage of that speed. If anything, they've been using that speed to sort of keep Stonington at bay, as the Bears have had a lot of really good opportunities in front of the net. But we'll see as the game wears on. Here's Grubb with a ball in front.
East Lyme has that speed for sure. And some of the players, but not all the players are as polished technically as Stonington are. So, the speed is one thing, but what do you do with the ball once it's at your foot? Can you have the ability to take a guy on 1v1? Can you attack the end line? Can you slide a ball across the box? What are you going to do with that ball? And I think you can see that Stonington has that speed, maybe not with the likes of some of the guys in East Lyme, but when they get in a 1v1, they have guys with the ability to break some ankles, the likes of Montalto, Fidorich, guys of that nature.
Speaking of Fidorich, there he is with the ball in front. Dangerous spot, and another beautiful save by Brown.
Smart play by Fidorich, because I think they're expecting him to play that ball negative across the box. Keeper was a little bit off of his post there. He tried to sneak it in, but nice save by the East Lyme goalkeeper on that near post.
Far corner. Fidorich will have it again. So dangerous with the ball on his feet. Taps out, cross, and Stewart gets a head on it to help the Vikings clear.
One of the things I think East Lyme needs to be mindful of is they know that, the Fidoriches and the Montaltos and some of those guys with good technical ability have that ability to take guys on a 1v1. They need to be smart about what they do. If they try to dive in, they're going to find themselves chasing the man down instead of keeping him in front. They have to be really smart about closing man down with speed, but then delaying them and forcing that player, like Ty, like Sam, to really play that ball negative, play it wide. Do your job. Your job is to stop the man and make him play wide or negative. If they play that ball wide or negative, you've done a great job defensively.
Sokolovsky took a crack from about 30 yards out and put a one-hopper onto net, but Fern was there ready and out. But we're seeing East Lyme challenging a few more balls in the middle of the field. See there, and there's a mistake, however, they got away with.
Yeah, East Lyme's getting to play a little bit more direct, which is fine, but they have to find someone on the end of that ball.
Fidorich tried to get Montalto on a through run, but deflected by East Lyme, and Sokolovsky now will play through the middle of the field with a little touch to the outside, and Stonington will have a throw.
As they say, you got to pass with a purpose. Just playing balls long is going to become a back and forth ping pong match here. We don't want to play kickball. We got to find guys on the end of those balls. So if they're going to play the ball long, can you find a corner flag? Can you find a corner ball the guy can run onto versus just playing the ball back into the back four of Stonington? So that happens, they'll possess it, knock it east to west, and they'll be right back in your back end before you know it.
Bears through. Touch. And a whistle as we're down now 8 minutes remaining here in the first half of this scoreless game between the East Lyme Vikings and the home Stonington High School Bears. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill and the coach, Colin Delaney. And as always, Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health. At Waterford Dental Health, your smile and your health are our top priority. They're located at 177 Boston Post Road or at waterforddentalhealth.com. East Lyme trying to, I think, make a little more of a concerted effort to be aggressive in the midfield.
Yeah, you're seeing a little bit of a change here. You know, they're trying to make better use of their possession instead of, you know, receive and pass it away.
Stonington puts it out. Hammond back, ball in front. Fidrich, handball, left foot shot, and a gorgeous save by Brown.
Great save, lower right side. You know, really good presence of where that ball is. That ball saved, you know, Stonington from going up 1-0 right there. Nice job with the keeper.
Fidrich with that little extra touch to get it into the perfect spot on his left foot. Hit a ball that I was certain was going to scoot underneath Brown, but he made a beautiful athletic save, and now that far corner. And East Lyme is finally sending somebody out to challenge that corner, as the Bears have gone with that little short corner in the last couple of times.
Two guys out there, send two. Otherwise, they're going to slice and dice you in a 2v1 every single time. You give them more options. Put two out there and just be smart about it. And now East Lyme did a good job with that. And Stonington is relegated to knock that ball outside the box.
Stewart for East Lyme challenges and forces an error.
I've always been a big believer of sending two in that scenario because it gives those guys less options.
Beautiful ball through the middle of the field. Malky. And a nice job by Stonington. And Goose steps up, punches it.
And that's where the physicality and that, you know, that desire to really press helps East Lyme. You know, they're a hard-working team. They don't give up. You know, Fidrich is waiting for that ball to come. Goose steps right through it. Nice job by East Lyme. They have to, you know, outwork these guys. I think the edge goes to Stonington from a technical and tactical standpoint. So East Lyme has to kind of bridge that gap through their ability to just work hard, find each other, and never say die.
Outside it goes to Stewart. Looking to play back down in the side. Cuts it inside. Finn Power changes fields. Far side to Venkatesh. Touch. Center. Ball put on goal. Fern Holtz comes out and he beats Stewart to the ball.
Not a bad ball. If you can bend that ball a little bit more outside the 6, you have an opportunity for East Lyme to make that through one and bury that thing. You know, I like Rohan off the bench there. He's always a good spark plug for East Lyme. He typically comes onto the game, you know, partway through the first half, puts quality minutes in for the back line of East Lyme, and certainly somebody who is a nice little change of pace back there for him.
5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Scoreless game. It's been dominated in possession by Stonington and shots by Stonington, but because of some great goal play by Owen Brown, we are still scoreless.
And we talk about it all the time. You can, you know, possess all day long, but if you can't find the back of the net, it ultimately comes down to, you know, who finds that goal. You don't get points for possession, but certainly it's a huge advantage for Stonington. Can they find a way to break through, potentially attack that end line more? You see them attacking the right side a lot, Casey. I haven't seen them too much on this left side for the most part. Can they switch fields and find this left flank and create some opportunities?
Nice touch. Fidrich trying to keep it in. Puts it in front just over the sailing head of Dahl.
Pinched in a little too far. If he starts his run a little bit wider, maybe he's got a chance to put a head on that ball or getting into that on that switch there. You know, you really want to make sure your outside mids or your outside players hold the weak side and adjust toward the ball rather than backing the ball. It's like an outfielder in baseball. You know, you want to be in good position to catch that fly ball. You want to start in a position away from it. You know, work towards it in that scenario.
Zavaleta, he's now in the middle of the field. Long ball. Out it goes to Northcutt. Northcutt challenged, keeping the ball on his feet. We'll have a throw for East Lyme.
So here's a chance for East Lyme. Can we possess the ball? Can we get down to the midfield? Can we look for a switch here and create some opportunities?
Throws it back to Venkatesh. And Venkatesh loses it out of bounds, and Stonington will throw it in.
You can't go back in the same pressure, Casey, where it came from. The throw came from that side. That's where the pressure is. We got to find the weak side there. So when Rohan receives that ball, can receive it on his far foot, look on his weak side shoulder, and find that switch.
Middle of the field now, Sokolovsky.
There's that switch I wanted.
Here's Goose. And it went through Stewart as he tried to control it. 3 minutes remaining here of a scoreless first half.
We need some mirrors here, Casey, so we can see those corners.
I guess the closest thing I have is a monitor. A nice little 1-2 with Fidrich and Montalto. Now Fidrich plays it back. DeVoe will switch fields for Stonington.
Montalto continues to keep the back line of East Lyme honest. He's stretching when he can, checking to the ball when he must, doing a nice job. I mean, it's 1v4, but he's a guy they're constantly keeping an eye on.
Nice ball. Oh, Fidget tried a little flick pass, but East Lyme got a foot on it. Now it's one back and a nice step in as Finn Power disrupted things for East Lyme.
Yeah, a little too prescribed right there. You can't, telegraph or communicate those passes in that way. You have to truly try to keep them off balance.
Fidrich loops it on top to Dahl. Dahl one-on-one with Mazzulli. Dahl keeps it, battling with Goose, and a whistle as Fidrich gets knocked to the ground. And with under 2 minutes remaining here, East Lyme on the defensive, and Stonington will have a free kick.
This is an opportunity for Stonington here. They're very dangerous from this distance. Ty has a good job of putting that ball in dangerous spots. You got a bunch of big bodies in there, so we'll see what they have in store for East Lyme in this restart.
Fidrich low on the ground and cleared out by East Lyme and put right back in. Mishit that time, however, from Hammond. Now Fidrich has it on his foot. Gets in front. Can he get there in time? No. One more chance. And Montalto popped it through. A field goal, yes. But a soccer goal, no.
Tough one. I do like what Ty did with that ball across the box. It's a low-driven ball, opposed to a ball in the air, so it becomes a better opportunity to put a ball in the back of the net with your feet. That's uncharacteristic for Sam in that spot right there. Just kind of sitting back on his heels, pop that ball up. He would love to have that one back again for sure.
And we're down to under a minute remaining here in a beautifully played but scoreless first half. Stonington has to feel like they've had multiple chances to break through. Montalto in the corner. Beautiful dribbling skills. Dangerous, but no one was home. Now back it goes to Reese Hammond. Hammond to Hammond, playing with Brother Wynn. Reese keeps it on his foot, left foot, beautifully centered ball, high in the air, just over the top of Montalto. He almost got his head on it.
Great ball from the side there. Sam couldn't have done a much better job to get up in the air like that. Just a little bit out of reach, but great service from the side. Stonington's certainly trying to test this back line of East Lyme.
I don't think Reese could have made a better cross from where he was. That was inches away from being perfect.
Beautiful ball, great target to hit it to as well.
Wynn Hammond puts it back in, and Brown will come off his line. And with the clock running out here at the end of the first half, we are scoreless at Stonington High School. The home Bears 0, East Lyme 0. Please stay tuned at halftime for a feature on East Lyme's Goose Carmbal and Stonington's Reese Hammond. We will have those, and then we'll be back to wrap up halftime before second half action. You're watching Game Day Live on day.com.
At The Day, our journalists are in your community, talking with business owners, attending town meetings, analyzing data, talking to government leaders, reporting on the issues that matter most to you. Since 1881, we have been serving our community and will continue to do so 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Never miss a day of news. Enjoy convenient home delivery right to your doorstep, 7 days a week. Subscribe at theday.com/membership.
The Day strives to cover stories our readers care about. With a feature called Curious CT, we make it easier for you to tell us what you want to know about the people, places, and issues in southeastern Connecticut. You submit a question, readers vote, and we investigate and report. Go to theday.com/CuriousCT for more details. You ask, you vote, we investigate.
It's always stayed with me, right on through all the different ranks that I held in the police department.
There are about 1,000 unsolved murders in Connecticut.
And our department really wanted to solve this.
Case Unsolved, a new podcast from the newsroom at The Day, tells the stories of unsolved murders in Connecticut and the family, friends, and law enforcement left without resolution. Listen at caseunsolvedpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app.
I started soccer when I was like 5 or 6 at just the Como, which is just like a rec league. And I started running competitively. Track I started running my freshman year in high school. cross country I ran in middle school. In 4th grade, that was the first year where we ran the mile as a grade, and I broke the school record. And that was kind of like the first time where I said, hey, maybe I'm good at running. It didn't really take off till high school when I discovered track and really fell in love with it.
I think there are times that he has a couple plays during a game and you're just like, wow, where did that kid kind of come from? So I think, you know, there are moments that track background really kind of kicks in, and it's kind of fun to watch him get up and down the field. He's a great runner.
I mean, to be honest, I'm probably not the most technical soccer player, but yeah, I found that running does help at defense too, because you can make some defensive plays pretty well, beat the attackers to the ball, which is what I really like doing.
Well, it's kind of funny because Reese was a premier player. He played for Southeast Soccer Club, and you know, he was very successful on the team he played on. But I think at some point he realized that you know, he had a Division I track on the horizon, and you know, we obviously spoke about it. And you know, you got to support someone when they have that type of potential. So you know, he did everything we asked of him, and he's one of our captains and one of our leaders. But you know, I think it's understood that track's kind of his first love, and when it comes to soccer season, he's also there to give everything he can for the team as well.
I'm going to run track in college. Verbally committed to Cornell University. Nothing's official yet, but as of now, that's my plan.
What's it kind of feel like knowing that competitive soccer is not much longer for you?
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but there's no other team I'd rather finish it off with. So we'll see what we can do this season. Hopefully it's something that we've never accomplished before, and yeah, then I'd finish my career on a good note.
Goose is one of those players who's just absolutely, you know, a team player.
Goose is like a great leader. He helps run the defense out in the back. I've been working with him since I was like in kindergarten. He's always like right after, even if we mess up, he's coming up with a joke to make everyone lighten up the mood.
Wally, this is the most I focus all year. Good. We got the mad focus going.
I'd describe him as like the smartest goofball I ever know.
Everybody loves Goose. I mean, what's not to love about Goose?
Well, I like to think I'm naturally funny, but no. I feel like soccer is like a big like team sport. Like other sports like basketball, like one person can dominate, but in soccer I feel like, you know, like everyone needs to be involved and like contribute. Soccer is like a very painful sport sometimes, you know, like there's always lots of running, lots of like physical body and stuff, but like having humor is like an easy way to cope with everything, you know, like it's just nice to be able to always laugh at the, you know, be in a serious game but still smile, you know, have fun with teammates, because in the end, like, winning's cool and stuff, but having fun is where it's at.
In school and as like in soccer, he's like has a soccer IQ of like the best soccer IQ on the team, probably one of the best, and he can make it fun and everyone has fun time around with him, you know.
That's probably his strength is not necessarily the skills, but the understanding of the game and seeing the field, you know. And he's versatile. You know, he's a good defender, but like the other day, he came up on a corner kick and scored a head ball goal, and last week he rattled one off the crossbar from where he was, from about 25 yards out. So he's got that potential as well. But the best aspect of his game is really the ability to see the field and to distribute the ball and to break up plays for us defensively.
I love annoying the other team's forwards. Like it's all part of the game. I think like other forwards like annoying me, and like it's just fun. That's why I like soccer, because like people enjoy having fun while like working extremely hard. Although we goof around a lot in practice, we always get some stuff done, and like we're able to improve. Like beginning of the year, we had some like holes in our defense, but I feel like, you know, we're starting to finally like come together, and I feel like our practices, like us having fun, really like helps that, and it's just part of our team character. Like we're able to work extremely hard while having fun, and that's like literally what soccer is. So.
At the Day, our journalists are in your community, talking with business owners, attending town meetings, analyzing data, talking to government leaders, reporting on the issues that matter most to you. Since 1881, we have been serving our community and will continue to do so 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Never miss a day of news. Enjoy convenient home delivery right to your doorstep, 7 days a week. Subscribe at theday.com/membership.
It's the Sports Doctor, Keith O'Brien. You want to hear from local coaches, athletes, and personalities? Well, how about giving my weekly podcast a listen I mean, do you have a kid in mind, though, John, who would take the last shot down by 2 with, say, 6 seconds left?
God almighty. I mean,
I gave you a look at sports from a fan's perspective as well. Do you have a problem with him pulling up from about 35 feet, from the basket, Coach?
We have had talks about this.
The Sports Doctor here on theday.com.
it's always stayed with me, right on through all the different ranks that I held in the police department.
There are about 1,000 unsolved murders in Connecticut.
And our department really wanted to solve this.
Case Unsolved, a new podcast from the newsroom at The Day, tells the stories of unsolved murders in Connecticut and the family, friends, and law enforcement left without resolution. Listen at caseunsolvedpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app.
The Day strives to cover stories our readers care about. With a feature called Curious CT, we make it easier for you to tell us what you want to know about the people, places, and issues in southeastern Connecticut. You submit a question, readers vote, and we investigate and report. Go to theday.com/CuriousCT for more details. You ask, you vote, we investigate.
Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health. At Waterford Dental Health, our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the personalized, convenient, and affordable dental health you and your family deserve. Visit us at 177 Boston Post Road or at waterforddentalhealth.com. We are scoreless here at the end of one half, half two, ready to go. Colin, your thoughts on what you saw from both teams there throughout the first half?
Well, certainly I think that Stonington had the lion's share of the possession and the bulk of the chances on the frame. A couple dangerous shots near post, great save by the East Lyme keeper, a couple dangerous balls across, a couple balls to Sam's head, a couple balls that Sam put just over the post or wide. So the lion's share, I would say, go to Stonington. But as we mentioned before, East Lyme has that energy. They have the ability to turn the tables pretty quickly on a team with that speed and athleticism, and they're not going to give up. They're going to play the full 80 minutes. Wally's a great coach, and with his staff over there, they're going to make some adjustments and put some things in place to make it more difficult for Stonington to score and potentially put a ball in the back of the net. Last time these two guys played, it was a 2-2 tie. So here we are today, 0-0, with potentially the same thing on the line.
Now, I don't know what effect the change of field will have wind-wise. I'm not sure exactly how the wind is affecting play, but it's windy. Just at halftime, stepping out of the booth, you can feel the wind. It's significant. You can see the players' jerseys flipping around in the wind. I don't know if we're going to see, was the wind enough of a factor that, one of the teams, that maybe it benefited Stonington, and will East Lyme be able to even things up a little bit here in the second half with the wind?
It seems to be going in Stonington's favor right now, kind of from our left to our right as we face the East Lyme and Stonington benches. We'll see if it's a factor going forward. Historically, wind is something that helps soccer teams get the ball forward quickly. It causes problems for the back line of the opposition. We'll see if Stonington can take advantage of that in the second half. It didn't seem to really slow them down in the first half, kind of going against it, but for sure, something to be mindful of in this next half of soccer.
In front, touch. Out wide now, Sokolovsky for the Vikings. Little overlapping run. He's sending Zavaleta down, but cleared by DeVoe.
Then they're going to try to use Zavaleta again. We saw a lot in the first half playing that ball down that left side. They see a matchup that they like. Not a size matchup, just a speed matchup. Zavaleta's got some incredible speed. If he can get behind that back line or the outside back of Stonington, he can create some havoc and serve a ball across the box.
We're going to throw in from Kane Salon. In the corner, he tries to go and tipped out and out of bounds, and it'll be a Stonington throw.
I would like to see a little bit of a mix, though, of the attack on East Lyme's part. They're doing a lot of these direct balls down the sides or over the top, or big, in-swingers and out-swingers from the flanks. Can they try to find that east to west ball through their midfield? We haven't seen that much from East Lyme in this first half. A lot of times the midfield player will see a opportunity to play a ball down to a flag, and they use that, or a big ball over the top, and they use that. But can they try to pick apart and go east to west, or even switch it back the opposite way and find that hole in the back line of Stonington? Because we know the back line of Stonington is super disciplined. They're not going to be an easy, back line to break down. So the more East Lyme can switch the field of attack, the better chance they have to try to find some slots and some attacking opportunities.
Small thing that I've noticed about Stonington that they do very well is they come back to the ball. When a ball is played forward to the man, the Stonington player has done a very nice job of coming back to the ball to get it and have an opportunity to sort of read what they want to do. East Lyme has been running with the ball, Stonington coming back to the ball. It's a subtle little thing, but it's allowing Stonington to trap, turn, and deliver, whereas for East Lyme, they're getting into a lot more 50-50 balls because of it.
Oh, for sure. And that's what we talked about a little bit in the first half. It's the movement off the ball. It's what the players are doing without the ball is one of the more impressive things that a good possession team does. And no one is resting on their laurels. The ball is moving. They're constantly trying to find places to support their teammates, either on the attacking end or as the ball gets played as an entry ball. Where am I in the entry ball? Do they need me for support to play it back to me? Or as a wide player? So you constantly seeing the shift and shape change of Stonington, which makes their possession look pretty seamless. And it's actually a feat that's often difficult to coach.
Dahl with the ball for the Bears to Montalto. Montalto spins, poked away by Malky. Two big bodies out there in front, and East Lyme will be content putting that ball in the air. No whistle, inadvertent contact, two big bodies going. Nice cut by DeVoe. And he puts the ball, and Grubb will head it.
Yeah, as this half goes on, Casey, I wouldn't be surprised if it stays 0-0 late in the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw an East Lyme team a little bit more content with a tie than trying to push for that win. Not to say they don't want to win, but certainly getting a point in a game where you've been kind of on your heels most of the game, wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. With that said, really whoever wins this match can potentially take a driver's seat in the ECC Division I, standings to potentially win this thing out, as the season progresses.
Now Brown will roll it out for East Lyme, and they will restart. Goose has his pocket picked outside by Sowen. Sowen makes a little move, and Goose and he fighting for the ball. Sowen plays it back to Hammond.
I think the only remaining game on the schedule is on Stonington's side. They play Woodstock Academy on the 26th, next Saturday. This is East Lyme's last Division I game. So a big game for them to really put a final stamp on the chance for them to win this Division I championship.
Yeah, we can't say this is for the championship because technically Stonington still has to play Woodstock. Woodstock at 0-4 is a big underdog against Stonington. So in theory, the winner of this game in great shape. Here's Fidrich, and Mazzulli held his ground, made the right choice, and benefits and clears for East Lyme.
Yeah, if Mazzulli steps there, that's going to be a shot in the frame, if not a goal for Fidrich. Mazzulli did a nice job being patient, holding his own, and kind of standing up, Fidrich to force him negative. That's a veteran and very patient play by Mazzulli.
Yeah, Tucker Mazzulli, junior defenseman. And the Bears will play it back.
We talk a lot about the back four of Stonington, and certainly they're a very, disciplined bunch. They're constantly moving the ball east to west. They're constantly covering each other, that whole pressure, cover, and balance system. But some credit goes to the East Lyme defense as well. They're doing a good job of really holding off a pretty prolific attack that Stonington possesses and not diving in. If they dive in against Sam, if they dive in against Ty, it's going to create some problems. And they're doing a good job of kind of delaying, getting some more people on their side, and then playing that ball out. The one thing I would like to see, though, is if East Lyme can somehow find a foot, like right there, on the attack to try to build it out, because otherwise it becomes a kickball game.
East Lyme with its best chance on the offensive side as we get a penalty, and we're going to get a free kick for the Vikings.
It's like an outlet pass in basketball, Casey. Big rebound, and can you find that outlet pass on the width and then build it from there? And East Lyme's doing a good job of getting stops, but they're not doing a great job right now of getting that outlet pass to their midfield to create an attacking opportunity.
Free kick for East Lyme. Sokolovsky, low line drive. East Lyme had a chance, but what a wall that time. That was beautifully done. Stonington's defenders did not budge, and they took that ball like you would see any wall from a free kick.
It's a great ball by East Lyme, though. Nice driven ball, probably about 6 feet off the ground. That can be dangerous because as that ball comes down, it's anybody's ball, regardless of your height. You also have to be careful of hand balls in those situations. Balls can pop down, pop back up, and next thing you know, you're inside the box with a penalty kick, in the early parts of the second half.
Fern Holtz off the kick, plays it down through his defense, and we're going to see a beautiful change. Played back to DeVoe.
That's another thing, Casey, we've seen a lot more in the last probably 5 to 10 years is that building out of the back. The days are gone where it's always got to be this big booming kick from your keeper or this, tremendous punt, whatever it might be, or, the keepers don't even take their kicks. Someone else comes back there with a big foot and just knocks it a country mile. We're seeing a lot more of building out of the back because teams are realizing, and as the soccer IQ has been raised over the years, that we want possession. And those balls that we knock to the 50-yard line become a 50-50 ball. We're seeing a lot more of that now, which has really shown that soccer is progressing quite a bit, in this area, in this country in general.
And as a fervent believer in metrics, otherwise known as data, otherwise known as fact or science, otherwise known as doing the right thing based on actual evidence versus, sort of random opinions of what your eyes might see. I'm taking a direct shot at you, Mike Demaro, right now, wherever you might be. But the thing about metrics is that you can show statistically that those 50-50 balls, how many 50-50 balls you get in a game, how many of them you actually win, how many of the ones you win translate into a scoring opportunity versus a shot deflected. Montalto had it, but it was a deflection and Brown cleans up, versus how many times when you keep the ball on a foot and play it out of the defensive end and what offensive opportunities are created from that. And statistically, it just shows that the 50-50 ball doesn't make sense because not only, A, does it not give you a maximum amount of possessions, it doesn't give you strong scoring chances, and it creates the possibility of a scoring chance in the other direction. How many times have we seen someone go up for that 50-50 ball and miss it, and the guy's straight off to goal?
I mean, not to point out the obvious, but they call it 50-50 ball for a reason. That's
right. If it was a 70-30 ball, it might be different. That's a great point, Colin.
So, it's one of those situations where you got to use the metrics. You got to use the stats, and it's not, it's common sense. It really is. Play the ball to feet, create the opportunity, build off possession. Now, the other school of thought is, hey, we're not very good. We need to get the heck out of our back end and find someone to knock some long balls. Now, that's not the tale of the tape for this game here. We got two talented teams. They both have the ability to possess. But there are some times where you have a team up against the wall, they got to find a way to kind of bail themselves out.
I'll put an example of that from another sport in a moment, but DeCastro with the free kick for Stonington. Low, looking for Fidrich. Cleared out nicely by Power, and Sokolovsky fighting with it, and it'll be out of bounds, and it'll be an East Lyme throw. If you're the less talented boxer, you tend to throw a lot of haymakers in an effort to catch your opponent once, whereas the opponent might be picking you clean with their skilled boxing. It sort of feels the same way sometimes. And as a New London High School soccer player, where we were not, as I've talked about before, as skilled, we did take the chance at the haymaker on occasion, right? So a lot of long balls. We put fast forwards up front and said, we're going to just take our chances that way because we couldn't out-skill Stonington through the midfield. We couldn't do that. But you're right. East Lyme's close enough talent-wise that it's in their it's better to be disciplined and take their chances at the right time, which is what Stonington did in the first half. Fidrich, back to him again, head ball. Always dangerous when you can't definitively clear. Mazzulli and Goose now with it, and Power touches it back outside. So we saw Stonington in the first half, and you made note of it the second that it happened, went from being entirely ground-driven to then start testing a little bit, putting a little bit of deeper balls into play. We haven't seen them do that yet this half, but East Lyme's got to be thinking the same thing, right? They've got to be thinking, when is the right time to try to pop one?
For sure.
Long throw. Loose in front, dangerous, up, punched out by Brown. Shot over the top of the net from Samhain.
There's that bend but don't break attitude. East Lyme finds a way to get that ball out when they need to. But I'm telling you right now, they got to be careful. They're kind of, making a deal with the devil here. Too many balls in the middle of the field here on a Stonington foot's going to find the back of the net. There's plenty of soccer left here.
Feels like with 28 minutes and a half remaining, that East Lyme has been on their heels a little bit here in the second half. Stonington having, again, chance after chance. And, Fern Holtz has been pretty much a distributor. He hasn't had to do much in this game.
I think, Stonington has done a great job of possessing the ball. And we mentioned before that they try to, differentiate their attack from, occasional direct ball followed by, the minutia of constantly finding feet and picking them apart, from that standpoint. And I think as East Lyme gets higher up the field, so on an attacking opportunity by East Lyme, you might see an occasional big ball into Sam or an outside, flank player making the overlapping run to try to pick apart that quick counterattack. So they have it in their tool bag for sure, and we'll see if they add it when East Lyme gets more in their defensive end, if that happens in the second half.
Brown with the kick. Now we should discuss with 27 and a half minutes remaining, because our previous game, Ledyard and St. Bernard's Girls, ended in a tie, and there was no overtime played because of the time start and the Triple E issues going on, which are also in existence here in Stonington. So this game started at 2 o'clock, which would have seemed to allow time for an overtime if necessary. And, of course, as soon as I say that, we've got an inadvertent handball and a beautiful opportunity for Stonington. They will have a free kick about 20 yards out. Dangerous spot here where you've got Montalto and Fidrich, two excellent, powerful shots. Fidrich will take it. Montalto will drift out to the left of the wall. Staying onside. Now they're going to mark him with Mazzulli. And now Grubb will come over. That's the size. Joey Grubb will mark Montalto.
Certainly not rocket science. We're playing on a football field. 10 yards is pretty easy to walk off.
That's right. Canella will stand and chit-chat with Fidrich about what they want to do here. Brown is down in his goal. Fidrich approaches. Shoots. And a save by Brown. It'll be a corner kick for Stonington, but Brown with a save off of a low line drive, spinning off of the foot of Tyler Fidrich.
Brown doing a good job today, kind of standing on his head at points to keep East Lyme in this game. 2 or 3 really key saves between the first half and second half to keep East Lyme, tied at 0-0 here.
Here comes the corner, long corner, deep, high, spiraling in the air, and flicked out. Nicely done. East Lyme. Zavaleta keeping it on his foot, touching it up ahead to Malky. Run down in the corner, running on is Klug. And a very heads-up play. Stonington, but it'd be a throw. East Lyme has quickly changed fields here. Can they keep the momentum going?
That's going to be one of East Lyme's best chances at scoring today on a big counterattack. I don't think they have the ability to really possess the ball, or hasn't shown in this game too much yet, to really pick apart the back end of Stonington. They got to find a way to counterattack and find someone's foot. The long balls to the corner we're running onto aren't really working. Can they find a way to find someone's foot quicker and create some opportunities and switch that field?
Salon put a high ball in the air, and Fern Holtz recognized it immediately, came off his line, and was able to corral it. East Lyme trying to turn up the energy here. Stonington, though, just so good at the counterattack. Through ball, looking, there's Montalto. Montalto keeps it on his foot with his chest. Him and Grubb, that's a great battle. And we're going to get a whistle. And they're going to say that, yep, Montalto's going to get whistled as Grubb had position, and Montalto kind of ran over the top of him.
It's going to be a fine art that Sam's going to learn over the next 2 years. He's a big guy, and unfortunately, when you're a big guy, I think back to the likes of like a Jeff Trine at Montville. He was always a bigger guy, or Connor Lehman was a bigger guy. Those guys tend to inadvertently create fouls because they're just a larger person, and a lot of times these referees are going to award the defense in that situation the foul instead of the other way around. And once he figures that out, he's going to be even more dangerous.
That's right. Little guy on the soccer field that runs over people is scrappy. Big guy on the soccer field that runs over people is a bully. So it kind of does depend on your body type. Visually, it's hard for an official to see exactly the positioning sometimes. You just see the collision.
It is, and you know, unfortunately, that's the dynamics of being a bigger person. You know, it's just how it works sometimes. And right or wrong, it takes.
Shot and a goal! Finally on the board with the goal. Stonington DeCastro pumps it in from 25 yards out, and the Bears take a 1-0 lead.
Great strike. You know, that area of the field's been open a lot. As East Lyme drops off in their back end, because they're playing that sweeper, it's forcing the three backs in front of them to drop off with them, and it creates space on top of the 18. We've seen that with Sam, and now we're seeing it from, you know, Billy DeCastro. He makes that run forward, playing that number 6 position, and finding that strike. Beautiful strike, put them up 1-0.
You know, we've seen Montalto in that spot for much of the first half with chances, and he left them high or wide. That was DeCastro's first chance, and he put it home.
I'll tell you what, it's a tactical situation. You know, Sam goes higher. He draws a lot of attention, Sam does. The higher he goes, the more attention he's going to draw, which will create space behind him. And so we saw, you know, Fidret's up higher as that, you know, number 10 position. And then it allows Billy, who's playing that 6 at times, to get forward a little bit and create some opportunities. So certainly that spot needs to be something that East Lyme is mindful of. They've got to drop one of their center midfielders in that spot to hold that area and disrupt any shots from occurring.
Little head ball now, tapped out, played out there by Limbarakis, but East Lyme takes over possession, and Garamball.
You know, certainly Sam is not a decoy attacker. He's a guy you got to be mindful of at all times. But at the same time, there's so many, you know, potential goal scorers on this Stonington side that if you're not mindful of all 11, they're going to make you pay. And that was an example of DeCastro stepping up and making East Lyme play for keeping that space kind of unoccupied.
DeCastro puts it out wide to Hammond. Hammond into the corner. Little overlapping run. Hammond flicks in front. Fidrich turns, puts it out. Montalto, a save, Brown! What a gorgeous play and shot by Stonington, but Brown denies.
Great change of pace, great flick on. That was one-touch soccer across the field there. Really caught East Lyme in a tough spot, created some holes. Sam with a great strike, just hit it right at the keeper. Good save by Brown as well.
Stonington, a little blood in the water right now. Fidrich in front. Flick, shot, and a beautiful save by Brown. Montalto had it, and Brown denied.
Yeah, right now Stonington smells something here. They smell a chance to put another
wide
back in the
shot,
net.
And another save
one.
by Brown. Is it a goal? It's a goal! Beautiful head ball and a goal for the Stonington Bears. Looks like Limbarakis got it. George Limbarakis, the senior, with the head ball. Brown made the save from inside the net, but the official says it crossed the line. 2-0 Stonington.
Great effort by Brown. Must have just crossed the line. They're hard to see from our angle, but certainly the official in the right position, able to make that call. Tough situation because Brown has been peppered the last probably 5 to 10 minutes here.
Brown has done everything and then some. 2 impossible shots. Right there, he made a point-blank save, and Limbarakis was there with the head ball, and just nothing that could be done.
East Lyme's got to find a way now to get more direct and take their chances. They got to really stall this attack if they have any shot putting balls in the back of the net.
Fidrich gives it to Limbarakis. High up in the air, and Brown brings it down for the Vikings.
Brown has nothing to be ashamed of so far. He's doing a great job between the posts for East Lyme today. He's got to continue to play with confidence and keep these guys in the game.
We're going to get a whistle against Tobiasen as he went over the top of Sokolovsky, and it'll be a Viking kick from about 42 yards out, 50 yards out, so they'll play it through, and Grubb will come up to take the kick.
East Lyme has the ability to put balls in the back of the net. They played these guys to a 2-2 draw last time. There's no reason why they can't do it again. As mentioned earlier, they both have 38 goals for in the season, so certainly both teams have the ability to find the back of the net. Can they find the back of the net today to equalize this thing?
Junior Alexander Tobiasen down on the turf. He took a foot and then a ball right off the lower back, and he went right down to the ground, so the player will stop while he's attended to there. So a name we have not called today, a player who has not played, and we have no information as to why, is perhaps the premier goal scorer for the East Lyme Vikings. I think that's a safe moniker to give him, and that's junior Cooper Pizzaglia. And Pizzaglia has been their best scorer. We saw him dominate that game against Waterford, and Coach DeCastro was pretty clear in his comments to us that he dominated their first game with them as well.
Yeah, it's strange not to see him out there, and once again, no information as to why he's not out there, but certainly not having him on the attack is a big loss for East Lyme, and certainly he's a player they look to put balls in the back of the net. Certainly someone is probably one of their leading goal scorers on the season.
So this is the exact situation that these two teams were in last time. Stonington leading 2-0, 20 minutes left, and Pizzaglia scored 2 goals to tie the game. Taking a look over there on the bench.
Still kind of waiting right now.
We've got him on the crutches.
That is him with the crutches. Yes, it is. So that answers that question. As far as if East Lyme's going to rally from down 2-0 today, it's not going to be Cooper Pizzaglia that scores 2 goals.
Yeah, and based on last game, he scored 2 for East Lyme in a 2-2 tie, so certainly it's a situation where they're going to have to rely on somebody else to find their way into the back of the net. He would be a big loss if he's gone for the season. Hopefully it's something that's short-term because obviously East Lyme's hopes are not just this game, but the ECC tournament and the CIAC state tournament.
So coming off the field for Stonington will be Tobiasen, and we will get underway again with 20 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in Stonington on top 2-0 here at Stonington High School.
Still plenty of time left in this game. We have a half of this half left. 20 minutes of soccer is a ton of time to create opportunities and score, but East Lyme's got to get more urgent, get the ball in the back and get numbers forward. You can't play a ball into a 1v5 situation, a 1v4 situation on the attack to the likes of Zavaleta, who's got wheels, but he needs numbers around him to build that off of. They don't have Cooper out there today, so it's going to come down to getting everyone involved and shrinking this field. They're giving Stonington too much field to play with. They've got to get the backs forward and create the opportunities. When they're playing that sweeper back, it's allowing them to sit deeper, which is great defensively, but it's not going to do anything in the attack. Lose by 2, lose by 3, you still lose.
Stonington will play it through the defensive side, change fields, and now a ball to the middle to Fidrich. A little touch to himself, and he mishit that one as he was going. He was trying to get Limbarakis down the sideline, and just a little bit too much air under that one.
He had a little bit more time and space. I would like to see him bring that ball down to his feet and kind of build it from there. I think that was a situation where he's playing a ball into like a 1v2 situation on that flank, which is not a terrible idea, but he had about 5 yards in front of him. He could have created some more opportunities, or maybe look to his weak side shoulder to find the left side flank.
Nice flick on ball in front and a save. Fern Holtz came out in front, and he actually made a mistake. Got away with it. Finn Power had a chance.
And that's what East Lyme needs to do. It's that quick counterattack, right? That was that long kick on in, finding some feet, through ball, and they got to find the back of the net there. They're not going to have as many opportunities as Stonington does. They're going to have to maximize their chances here. 10 shots can't yield 1 goal. They need to take about 3 or 4 shots and yield 2 goals quick.
Here's a chance for Montalto, one-on-one with Mazzulli, and out of bounds it will go, and it will be a Stonington corner. Back to Fern Holtz. He came off his line. He's a very aggressive keeper off his line. He thought he was going to be able to get to that ball. He realized quickly that Power was going to beat him, and then he had to go into that low grind, and Power, unfortunately for him just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, that would be a situation where, if he's coming out off his line like that, can you try to chip a ball over him? Can you play a ball to the weak side to maybe overlapping run of somebody else? But a lot of times, when they cut off that angle, that Power is going to get saved off a body part, off a knee, a leg, a shin, something along those lines. And it becomes more of a finesse shot than a laces shot.
Montalto's got to ask what he needs to do to get a goal into the net today. He had another point-blank opportunity, and Brown with a foot save this time, kick save down low, Brown has made his best saves of the day today against Montalto.
He's having a great game all the way through, and Sam is not doing anything wrong. He's striking the ball well. It just comes down to, a game of inches at times. If that ball is 1 foot left, 1 foot right, he's going to probably have 2 goals in the day today on a couple of his attempts. So certainly he's not doing anything wrong. He just needs to kind of, find that back somehow. As they say, he's unlucky.
Sometimes you do your best and the other guy's just a little better on that one play, and that's what we saw there as Montalto put on 4 or 5 outstanding shots, and Brown just made fantastic saves, and that's kind of the joy of soccer.
Sam's got a good head on his shoulders. He's not going to be a kind of kid that's going to let stuff affect him. He's going to, fight for the next rep and the next opportunity, because you're only as good as your next shot, and certainly he's hungry. He's put a number of phenomenal shots on the frame today that either just missed or have resulted in some big saves by Brown.
It's a lot easier to keep your head up and when you're up 2-0 too. I mean, that frustration, if it was a tie game still, that's a lot of frustration. Like, I can't, I had a chance. 2-0, his teammates have picked him up, and now he can kind of laugh about it. If this game continues on and Stonington prevails, Montalto was going to laugh about it. He's going to say, why, how come I couldn't get one of those? But that's the difference between being up 2-0 and being in a 2-2 or a 0-0 tie.
Well, and he also looks at it from the perspective that he can rely on a lot of his teammates. He's got a great balanced attack around him, so it's not just the Sam Montalto show. There's a bunch of guys who can find the back of the net, from the likes of DeCastro and Fidorich and Hammond, and the list goes on, guys out of the back end. So certainly he's not alone, and he trusts everybody, so it's a nice balanced attack for sure.
Nice ball from Montalto to Fidorich. Now a little overlapping run and Hammond, and there'll be a throw-in on the far side.
And they're disciplined enough. They're going to find each other. They're going to find the holes in each other's feet. So it's going to happen. Certainly something that he's not concerned about, nor is Coach DeCastro.
Here comes the weapon, Cole DeVoe, the long side throw. We know this is a scoring chance every time it happens. He'll go as far back as he can to the fence. Expect this ball to be put right into the box. Long throw in the air. Someone needs to clear. Rolling loose, and we'll see who gets there first. Out of bounds. That's a break for the Vikings.
Certainly a big weapon from the side there.
Now I'm going to send them to the other side and say, do it from this side.
And they have the tools to bring guys back to fill his space until he can recover back into that defensive position. So, they're going to continue using him as much as possible. It's like an extra 5 to 10 corner kicks per game.
The jump, the throw, going a little more directly. Ball in front, it's loose, and just out of bounds off of a Stonington foot, and it'll be a goal kick for East Lyme. I'll tell you, that is a weapon.
It's similar to the weapon they had years ago with a couple years ago with Cam Whalen. Cam had that big throw from the sideline, and he played in the back, and he was dangerous in the air. He was dangerous with this throw. A great player in his own right, all New England player. But his throw from the sideline, very similar to this one here, and if Stonington can identify, or any team for that matter, can identify a throw like that, you might as well use it.
We, and Peter will remember this, we had talked a lot about that the night we had Cam Whalen here at Stonington High School, because he made a throw from 40 yards and put it onto goal for a shot. And we marveled at that, because at the time, I've mentioned her before, you had Sienna Ciappone doing the flip throw in Waterford, and you had Whalen running like a track star from as far back as they would let him go, because he could get 40 yards on his throw. And it was the first time I think we had seen the throw equivalent to that of a corner kick. So anytime it's down that close, it's like a whole other corner kick. So from that perspective, Stonington's had probably a dozen corner kicks today.
And they're hard to deal with. They're coming from the sideline there, super hard to deal with. They're throwing balls in the box. It makes the keeper make those decisions. Do I stay in my line? Do I come out? Defensive header-wise, this ball's got to be up and out, and can I get on the end of that second ball?
.14 minutes remaining here in a 2-0 Stonington lead. Cleared out by the Bears. A throw in for the Vikings.
And as a sophomore, now they've got a kid for this year and the next two, as someone that they can rely on for those big throws in. I mean, it's a dangerous weapon to have, and not every team has them.
See if East Lyme can mount one more charge. Just getting one goal into the net would be a huge lift right now. And obviously, the difference between 2-0 and 2-1, but just that first goal, for a lot of reasons, can really change the momentum of things.
As they say, 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer. It gives that team who's up that kind of, that, you know, almost that false sense of hope. They kind of maybe sit a little bit back on their laurels a little bit, you know, less urgent. Next thing you know, 1 goal. Lead's cut in half. Before you know it, it's tied. So you got to be really careful in that 2-0 lead. I know it sounds funny, you know, dangerous lead, you know, in any sport, but really in this sport, it's a lot about momentum at times, and that can change in a heartbeat. Stonington is not going to continue to play their way of soccer, which they have not shown any signs of changing so far. But if that were to change and East Lyme were to take advantage of that, it could change this game in a heartbeat.
Fidrich is fun to watch with the ball. His instincts are so sound. He seems to have a plan of what he's going to do. He's done a little bit of everything. He's cut it back. He's flicked it to himself. He's one touch to a teammate. You never exactly know what he's going to do, and he's got such good skills with the ball, and he's tough as well, much more sturdy with the ball than I think someone of his size might indicate.
Well, I think a lot of times, Casey, is some of the smaller players, they learn to, you know, control their body at a better, you know, rate or availability than some of the bigger players, because they have to constantly keep themselves on their feet. They have to be stronger because they're constantly getting banged around. And I think he's learned that over the years. And I think one thing we talked about last time deals with, you know, a player's ability to really, you know, check their shoulders and see the field and know what to do with it. You know, those fluid players are constantly looking around them, seeing where that ball's going to go before it even reaches their foot. And Ty's one of those players. You know, that ball, he has a plan for that ball's destination before it even reaches his foot. And that separates some of the, you know, good players with the elite players, you know, in high school soccer.
Well, Saturday night, I was fortunate enough to be at Eastern Connecticut State University, where my dear friend Mike Susie was being inducted into the Eastern Connecticut State Athletic Hall of Fame as a baseball player. As Power in front for the Vikings. Power shoots just wide of the goal, far side. Malky steps in. Malky's going to play it back. Stewart, one touch and cleared out by Stonington. And it wasn't just the Baseball Hall of Fame. There was a women's soccer player, a men's soccer player, lacrosse, softball, and baseball, one from each sport being inducted. Fidrich in front, and it will go wide. And each of these inductees had a chance to give a speech, and their coaches and teammates in a video package. It was very nicely done. But the one constant, this is a Division III program, some of which have won national championships, baseball, softball, soccer, at one point nationally ranked and other times not, lacrosse nationally ranked, other times not. But one thing that kept coming up when the teammates were talking about program changers at the Division III level, the same skill set kept coming up over and over again. 2 different skill sets, and I'll talk about those in a second, as Stonington trying to make one last little push here. Fidrich drops in front, and we're going to get offsides as Hammond was offsides. Even at the Division III level, you see a lot of players very, very skilled to one side with a weak hand or a weak ball. We're going to get a yellow card against Wayne Hammond for popping that ball after the whistle had been blown. Having one particularly skilled side and being weak from another side. So we talk about some of our soccer players. We see it in lacrosse as well, where they're exceptional both sides. And you mentioned, for example, a player, like both Montalto, but also Fidrich. So, equally skilled both sides of the ball. So that was one of the common themes. We're talking about, a person that changes the program at the Division III level is an exceptionally skilled foot or armed player. And then the second part was what you just pointed out was the ability to involve their teammates and strategically raise the game themselves by doing a lot of different things. And so you talked like last year, Montalto was a bit more of a scorer. This year he's a little bit more of an all-round offensive player. But a guy that can go to a program, or a woman that can go to a program, and through sheer force of will, their character as well as their skill set, is so complete and so versatile that it just raises the stakes for an entire program. And I watched these 5 recipients talk about, and watch their teammates talk about how each of them did that for the program. And I watch and I look out here and I see a handful of players who, in my mind, could be that. And that's such a testament to how much the soccer has improved here in the ECC. Sokolovsky touches, power, plays it back and battling two Bears, and out of bounds it will go.
The rare corner kick, or is it a throw? No, rare corner kick for East Lyme here.
Yeah, they haven't had many. Power will take it. Captain Finn Power. Low line drive. Sokolovsky, one touch, and he tried to get it off to his other foot, couldn't do it.
He's got to play that a little bit quicker. There's too much time. There's too much at stake here to play that ball slow. He's got to find a way to get the ball on the frame or play that ball wide to a player who can find a chance to score.
I like the work that Stewart's done today. Ethan Stewart, the senior forward midfielder for East Lyme. He's given them a lot of energy.
You certainly don't want East Lyme to panic, but you've got to play with a little bit more urgency at this point. There's not a lot of clock left here. If they want a chance to try to equalize this game or even just get one goal in the back of the net.
Fidrich with one of the 5 best hair mops in the ECC.
Well, following the footsteps of Cam Whalen. Remember, DeMoro was commenting on Cam's lovely locks.
The glorious nature of the lettuce.
And certainly the likes of DeMoro and yourself, and I'm not too far behind, it's something that we are certainly a little bit envious of.
I'm not even a little bit, Colin. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd cut off my left finger, maybe the pinky finger, to have hair like that for, a week of my life one more time. You don't need a pinky finger, right? That's not something.
No,
okay.
keep the thumbs. Keep the thumbs.
Fidrich stops on a dime, puts it to his left, now puts it in the middle. And a beautiful job by Grubb.
Tyler's very crafty. He knows when to take it on himself and be selfish. He knows when to distribute the ball and be unselfish. And that's a true mark of an elite player. We talk about his field vision, but at the same time, he knows where that ball needs to be. He understands who's around him, who's available, and what the best course of action is.
Well, Pereira had a chance there, and Grubb just stymied him. Now Fidrich plays it back. Little touch. Far post. Head ball. Shot. Goal! Beautifully done by the Bears. I believe it was Drew Johnson that finally put it into the net. Everybody touched it from Fidrich to Sowen, and I believe Johnson finally gets credited with the goal.
The East Lyme defender just kept him on sides. He actually looked over his shoulder at the official to make sure he wasn't off sides that last second. East Lyme just kept him on sides, and at this point, down 3 goals with 6 to play. Very difficult hill to climb for East Lyme.
East Lyme now I believe that this is the most dangerous 3-0 deficit, because now you're in that spot where you got to press, and it becomes 5-0 really quickly, because Stonington will sit back and press it in a little bit, but all of those guys moving forward for East Lyme allows that ball over the top to just be there over and over again. It would not surprise me to see East Lyme have, to sell out and have Stonington have one more good chance.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Casey, though, where I haven't seen anything from the defensive side of Stonington that would make me concerned. East Lyme hasn't done anything that has really been super dangerous other than, a couple opportunities, that one through ball that, the East Lyme keeper, came out and saved on that, cutting off that angle. But for the most part, it's been pretty much all Stonington. So not overly concerned about East Lyme's attack, but definitely up 3-0. If they press too much, we may see a situation where Stonington knocks another one in the back of the net.
There's a bullet off of the foot of Johnson, sailed right. Another sophomore, Drew Johnson. The cupboard is not bare here at Stonington. See
well
what I did
done.
there?
I see.
What I did there?
Yeah. How long did it take you to think of that one?
I came up with it right on when I saw the Don't Poke the Bear roster that the Stonington Bears gave us.
A lot of fun things you can do with that.
Because inside, as you know, in the gym, it's the Bears' Lair. That's what the name of the gym in Stonington is. It's the Bears' Lair. I don't know what the pitch here is called.
Yeah, it's this bear country on the way in.
Don't poke the bear.
That's what they say. Don't poke the bear. And certainly today, they are bringing it up 3-0 here with about 5 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, scoreless first half did not did not surprise me to see Stonington put one in. East Lyme, kind of held them at bay, and Owen Brown played a fabulous first half. He's played brilliantly all day. Certainly 3-0, not indicative of the amount of saves that young man had to make today.
No, in the last game against Waterford, like we said before, didn't really see much of that. He didn't get tested, and today he really showed what kind of goalkeeper he is. Certainly one of the better keepers in ECC this season.
So with under 5 minutes remaining, 4.5 to be exact, here at Stonington High School, 3-0 Bears on top.
East Lyme trying to get out of the back end here to try to create some opportunities, but if they're not careful, you're going to see another goal pretty quick. It's one of those tough things like you mentioned. You're down 3, press, but you got to make sure you transition backwards to prevent that fourth goal from occurring.
And a chance here now, I think, with a 3-0 lead to see some of the other guys. I think as we get down to under 4 minutes remaining, you'll see some subs get into the game, some players who don't always get a lot of time. We're seeing Nick Meneses out there for East Lyme, and some subs coming into the game on both sides. Coming in now is number 21, Carter Chambers, the junior for East Lyme, is now in the ballgame.
It's one of those things, too, as the team who's up 3-0, aside from getting guys minutes and opportunities, you don't want one of your starters potentially, or one of your big goal scorers and defenders to go down in a game when you're up 3-0 late in the game. You want to make sure you stay healthy. It's the tricky balance in high school soccer. Sometimes you're not blessed with depth, and your starting 11 might be your bread and butter, and losing one of them could be crucial.
Well, Bill Belichick always said that that stuff's impossible to plan for because injuries kind of happen. But it came true this week. Fitch High School, who just won a big football game over Waterford yesterday in one of the games of the year in the ECC. Shot ripped, and the backup keeper in the game for Stonington. Looks like that'll be Nathaniel Belchick, or Dorian White, rather. Okay, we'll call that Dorian White, who is a sophomore, number 42.
And probably one of the best shots East Lyme's had all day.
It
nice
was.
Left-footed shot.
Point blank, yeah.
Yeah, dangerous shot.
So Fitch, running back James Deichler, their starting fullback and their number 1 offensive player, missed the game against Waterford because he got injured at walkthrough on Friday. In shorts and sneakers, basically stepped on an ankle of a teammate, rolled his ankle, and missed the game on Sunday, and Fitch still found a way to win. So all good plans sometimes, but I think in a game that's 3-0, you get your best players out of the game and you say, sit there and let's not risk anything.
No, you certainly can't plan for, situations like that, but at the same time, you got to be smart as a coach, and certainly, if Wally were in the shoes of Coach DeCastro, he'd be doing the same thing, trying to make sure that his players are healthy. But at the same regard, he's also, not of the mindset that, down 3-0 against Stonington, probably not going to come back and climb in this game. Let's find some opportunities for my younger players to get in while saving some of my veteran guys from injury as we head towards the ECC and state tournaments.
Gotta like the size of Dorian White, by the way. Yeah, as a sophomore, if he is the next keeper here at Stonington, good size as a sophomore that provides. I like those big athletic keepers.
Yeah, as you say, you can't coach height. So certainly in that position, if you can find a way to find a big guy with athleticism in the back end, it'll create some opportunities for you.
There was a shot put on goal by Owen Lindenmeyer, and that was cleaned up by Brown. And we are now down under 2 minutes remaining here in the ballgame. I will go down on the field afterwards and have a conversation with Coach DeCastro and some of the Bears about their performance today. As always, you can catch that post-game interview along with other highlights of the game on Game Day on Facebook and on Twitter. And, of course, theday.com will have highlights and full game coverage. Again, you can watch it all.
And barring anything, unforeseen happening, they'll take on Woodstock next Saturday, which could clinch them the outright ECC Division I championship. Before you know it, Casey will be in the postseason mode. ECC Division I and Division II, tournaments with the top 4 teams in Division I, Division II facing off against each other, and the top 2 teams in Division III, Division IV facing off against each other. So 8 teams out of our 19 in ECC will be vying for a postseason championship here in our conference.
40 seconds remaining here in the ball game. Brown will roll it out. And the Vikings will make one last perhaps push. Try to get a ball in the offensive end. Through the midfield it goes. Nice work by the Vikings, Cameron McGruer. And we're down to 20 seconds remaining. We'll get a throw in for Stonington, and as we're down 15 seconds remaining, that should just about do it here as the clock they'll take their time. Substitution as DeCastro, who finally broke the scoreless tie earlier in the game, comes off. A throw in by the Bears. We'll turn it over, and East Lyme will take it as we're down 10 seconds remaining and ticking. And as the clock rolls out here at Stonington High School, the Stonington High School Bears with a 3-0 win over their rivals, the East Lyme Vikings, to take control of the ECC Division I. They'll have a chance to win it again with a game against Woodstock Academy on Saturday. Colin, your final thoughts about the game today?
You know, coming into this game, both sitting at the 2-2 tie last game, you know, a lot of fanfare and expectations going into it that this could be another great match. But really from start to finish, we saw Stonington dominate and control the play in possession. I think one of the big X factors for East Lyme today is not having their attacking forward up top, Cooper. I think that's someone that really is someone that they need to score goals in the attack, and we missed him today for sure. With him, I think it would have been a different situation, maybe a closer game for sure.
Yep, Pazzalia is hurt. I have confirmation on that. So thank you very much. We'll go down and talk to Coach DeCastro, as well as we'll probably try to get Fidrich as well, talk with him. And Colin, we hope to do this again with you soon. It's been absolutely fabulous. We appreciate your time. And final here at Stonington High School, the Bears 3, the Vikings nothing for Colin Delaney. I'm Casey O'Neill saying good night, everybody.
Thanks a lot.